So, someone asked me, and if you know the little story behind it, which Leatherman Wave Plus do I like the best, the silver or the black? Now, why would I have two exactly the same and only have a color difference? Well, I'll tell you what, with my hand problems and everything, and I had some money. I never had a real Leatherman until after I retired. I had, you know, I had the money there. They were like $100, and so I got one. Quite a bit of hemming and hawing about what to get. I looked at Swiss Army knives too and everything, but in my experience, at least in the work environment that I had been in most of the times, having pliers was really handy. And the other thing about this model that's really handy is it has one-handed opening, even with my arthritic hands. Well, it's getting harder to open. And I put these studs in. These were from a third party, but they're made to fit in. Normally this hole, you just press your thumb in it and open it up, which works. But this works a little easier. So, but you have the one-handed opening, and then too, for me, that was really important is the blade's lock. So it's going to be very hard for that blade to fold back on you. So I got it. I used it, loved it. I mean, I might use this 6 or 7 times a day even. In the kitchen doing something. My hands, I can't rip a bag open. I can't do that. And so, I use the things on this, breaking the seal on a jar so I can turn it open. So it's really done a lot. So I lost it. So I'm going along and, I try getting a cheap one to replace it. I've got some videos about some of the Walmart ones that one was just like $8, they're worth exactly that. Now some cheaper multi-tools will make up for the fact that it's cheaper by making the metal more rugged. I had this one, and I think it sold for $30, but I got another one for $10 at one time, and I've given them away. But Radio Shack had some multi-tools, and like I say, they didn't have a lot of tools, but the ones they had were very thick metal, so it made the tool rugged and heavy too. But so sometimes you can get out around that, but that's nothing like having a Leatherman with a certain weight and all the functional tools it has. So I lost it going along, and I see that they've got the Leatherman black on sale. So after a powwow with the powers that be, my wife and I decide I can buy another one. So I buy this Leatherman black just because it's gone down to $100. I guess it was $129, and maybe the silver one was $129 at that point too. I'm not sure, but anyway, I got the black because it was the black aspect of it was free. So what can I tell you about the black first? Well, the black first is the reason they do black is basically it's tactical. In other words, something used in the military or law enforcement, and the idea here would be it isn't easily seen. You could see if you were actually on a battlefield, and I whipped out this thing. I've got a huge area that can reflect light and could betray my position really quickly. So this one, nope. Now I will mention the file, of course, because the file has to be bare metal for it to work, so that isn't coated, but the rest of the tools are. So you've got something you could take out and work on that isn't going to betray your position. So that's the main function of them being black. I don't know as if it, these are stainless steel tools, so I don't know as if that coating adds to or takes away the fact that these can, be corroded by things and can actually rust even though they're stainless steel. Just, it's a lot slower. So anyway, so I get this, I'm using it, and I lose it. Then, I'm like, oh gee, cleaning in the house, and the dog has a bed. It's a cushion bed, kind of, with the sides on it. And so I got to pick it up and move it. And I pick it up, and in the corner, I see a piece of the Leatherman, and I pull it out. It was under the cushion, and then after I pick the bed up completely, the silver one's right underneath the whole bed. So somehow I lost both tools. I really doubt that the poodle's into preparedness or or tactical things, but somehow they were, one was in his bed, her bed, and one was under the bed. So now I have two. But so the question is the black or the silver, and these cords I've attached to it should tell you something. In other words, I just saw an animal over there, a dog, going through the yard. You usually don't see dogs off leashes around here. I put this on so I wouldn't lose it again. So the whole idea of it being tactical, being difficult to see, for me personally, is a disadvantage. Does it look cool? Yeah, sure it does. And if you have a belt clip with this, they have a black belt clip. But if you were to clip this onto your belt without this on it, it becomes almost invisible if you have darker clothes on. But just, I found out after experimenting with these, you know, and the clip, I don't like the clips. I like it to either be in my pocket or in a case that has a loop that you have to put your belt through, not one that snaps on, slides over, or anything like that. One that you actually put your belt through. And then, because I found, just with me, that sometimes I can rub up against something, and something that like something with a clip can pull right off, and depending on where it falls, you don't even notice it. And that's happened once with the black, since I was doing it with a clip, and it came off, and I said, oh gee, where is it? And I looked back, and it was, you know, just as you open the door, that space between the door and the seat. So somehow I brushed up against something, and that just pulled it off. So if I could only keep one of these, I would keep the silver, because it's more visible than the black. And too, something about the black too, and they tell you, you know, if you look at it when you buy it or before you buy it, is the coating isn't permanent. It can be scraped off. And if you see that bright, those are all places where the tool rubs against itself and it's worn off the black coating already. They mention using mineral oil to help preserve it, because even your hands eventually are going to take that off. So, and my understanding about electroplating and things is that stainless steel is very hard to put a permanent finish on. Now, if this was high carbon steel, they could put a finish on there that would be much more durable, but then you lose the whole idea of it being stainless steel. So they asked my preference, and that would be my preference, would be the silver one over the black, solely for point of view that this is easier to see if you drop it. And like you say, you can see that I put high visibility paracord on them, but I go for the silver. Let me know what you think, because, and I use both of them, but it's nice to have, you know, I can have one in the house, one on me, or leave one in a car and a kid or whatever, but they're good. I like them, the silver the most.